Blum, owner of Blum Tool Company, and today I'd like to take you through the Sharpening Box. This is a box that allows you to do honing of plane irons and chisels, spoke-shaped blades, and it also allows you to sharpen scrapers on edge here. The box itself is made out of ultra-high molecular weight plastic. Very, very slick, hard-wearing surface. It has an adjustable angle block with a scale that reads in 1 degree increments. It's adjustable with these two screws here. And so it allows you to move this angle block up and down as you change the angle to flush it out with the top surface. The basic idea behind this box is that instead of a normal jig where you're using the stone with some kind of a jig that holds it at the proper angle and stays attached to the blade, whatever you're sharpening, what we've done here is really turn this upside down. Instead of moving the plane blade or chisel along the stone and having your jig run work stop here on the stone, that's going to allow you then to move the stone over the tool. The advantages of this are it allows much more latitude in how the stone is presented to the tool. The stone doesn't need to be nearly as flat as when you're running just back and forth. If you're going sideways, you're able to use more of the stone, and whether the stone is perfectly flat or not doesn't matter nearly as much. Another big advantage is that when you remove the tool to take the wire edge off, there isn't any jig attached to it, where you can only hone just the first little bit. You're free to move the tool around without having any jig attached to it. Great precision with your scale. You can easily dial in 29, 30, 31 degrees. It doesn't take a separate jig to set your angle, and it's very repeatable. One of the advantages of this jig over a lot of other ones is it allows you to do really short-bladed chisels, like Japanese chisels and short butt chisels. With a normal jig, there isn't a lot of room for the jig and this to stick out far enough. We'll just go through and do this. We'll set our angle to 30 degrees right on our scale. For this, we'll start with a fine grit DMT diamond stone. And since we have our angle set at 30 degrees and we're slightly above the edge of this block here, the only place the stone is resting on the jig is back here. The front is resting on the stone, so we're able to move it enough to create a nice little micro bevel, and we can keep going. Now we'll go with the soft Arkansas, a little oil on the stone, and we'll hone this. You can use whatever kind of motion you like. The beauty of being able to do that is you can use all the stone right up even to the edge. We'll go from that to a hard Arkansas. Just use whatever oil is left on your surface here. And keep honing away. And of course you can use whatever stone you like. A water stone would work for this. Any kind of diamond or Arkansas or any stone you've got. And another drop of oil. And I'll finish this off with a translucent Arkansas. Get the oil on there. This is just a 4-inch stone, 4 by 2, with a mounting block that we put on here. but it's plenty big for honing this, especially on your rarer and more expensive stones. You don't need to buy a 3x12 stone to do this. You can just use the front of it and work in circular back and forth, and it's going to also help keep your stone flat. So at this point we need to start chasing the wire edge. So to do that, we'll unclamp it, and the first thing you would do would be to feel for the burr on the back. And if you have a burr, you know that you've gotten past the dullness on the edge. So we'll start chasing this burr by holding the chisel perfectly flat on the stone. This is where it helps to have the back already flattened. Put it back on here, and at this point I just do it freehand rather than clamping it. Just push it up against the stone and then just a little bit more. And hone again. What we're doing is we're bending that burr back and forth. Now when I feel the back side, there's the burr again. So we'll hone this. And we'll put it back on here, push it up against the stone, and just a little bit higher. And we'll hone that. Come back. The beauty of doing it this way versus upside down in a jig is you're also able to see your bevel as you're making it, your micro bevel. So here we can see we have a nice even bevel. If we want to go one step further, we can strop that edge to remove any traces of burr that remain. I do that just by scribbling some green honing compound, or whatever you like to use, on a piece of MDF or wood. Setting the chisel back in the block just like it was, slightly above the edge of the angle block, and pulling backward and honing that edge. It works. Once you get going, you can move it back and forth just like a regular stone, and do the same thing with the back. And I call that a sharp edge. On the side here we have a couple of adjustable work stops that allow you to put a scraper blade, just a regular card scraper, in here, and by using either a file, or you can start with the diamond stone, you can start right with the stone, and will allow you to establish a sharp edge on your card scraper.